I felt cute today, so I decided we're gonna have a yap session. I recently was thinking of the subject of starting the new year slow. Now you could be like, what the heck do you mean by that? I mean, just like everyone else, I too get trapped in the New Year's, new me, new goals, strive for success, which is not a bad thing. Let me tell you that if you strive in the new year and setting huge goals, like that is your forte, that stimulates you, that motivates you, that like you get those goals done, period. Good for you, honestly. Like I wish I had that power. But just like everyone else, I can get caught up in the, this is New Year's, let's start fresh, let's get this going, rolling, ambitions, passions, mini goals. But that doesn't work for everyone. Honestly, it doesn't work for most people. When people think of starting the new year like that, they normally set up goals in a list. And to most people, a checklist is an amazing thing. I use one daily. But when it comes to big year-long goals, I don't really think writing things down, just, I want to do this, this, and this, will get you to where you need to be. I've heard this a lot recently, and maybe it's just the media that I am surrounded by, that starting the new year slower can really actually help you achieve those goals. When it came to writing my list of goals, I did write goals. I have goals for this year. I have things I thought were going to take the whole year that are actually happening now, but that's besides the point. I wrote down a list, but I also tried to write down sub parts of that list. If it was a dream I had, if it was an ambition I want to go towards, if it was yada yada yada, whatever. I tried to write steps to get to that goal, even if it was just little things, like, I don't know, like let's say you want to work on your sketching or your painting, be like, draw once a day, or draw at least 3 times a week, or come up with ideas multiple times. Like if you're literally anywhere, that is just one example, but I'm not gonna like bore you with like 5 examples. That is just one example, just making a sub list to help you achieve those goals. And this idea came to me because, if possibly I've mentioned in my other videos, if you've seen, I don't know entirely, during my college studies, I'm also trying to study traditional Chinese medicine, as I'm very intrigued by holistic medicine. And in traditional Chinese medicine, winter is your yin energy. Winter is time for rest and renewal and feeding yourself well with warm foods and really trying to be with yourself. Maybe not be your most extroverted and ambitious self. That doesn't mean you can't start the year off right and do goals. That just means January 1st, like, don't maybe go all in and deplete your energy so fast. If you recognize the winter as your slow time and you are a menstruating person that is watching this, we are also in our winter time during our period. And if you think about your period, are you gonna go like run a marathon? Are you gonna come up with your most creative ideas? No, normally you're not, and that's okay. It's because our period, we should relax and rejuvenate ourselves and try to get a lot of mineral-rich food and just really take a second to slow down, because life is telling you to slow down. And that's the same thing with winter. Even if you're in a warmer climate area or a colder climate area, I feel like you can just sense it in nature. Everything is calming down. There's honestly, especially if you live in a cold weather place, there's not as much to do outside. Like, you don't want to do as much outside. You don't want to go out as much. And I'm going to reiterate a lot during this video. That does not mean you can't have goals. Goals are very important. But I also heard a quote recently, and I think I've heard it multiple places, is winter is a time to plant the seeds for success, not to rush to the finish line of success. And also I kind of added on the last part, so quote by me. But what that means is you should take winter to set your goals and set your ambitions and think about what you want to achieve, but that doesn't mean you have to full throttle towards it. You can mentally prepare, slightly physically prepare, spiritually prepare. Like any part of you that needs to prepare, you can do so. I think an example that comes to my head, because I am someone that does like to work out and weightlift, is there is a running joke in the gym that when January 1st starts, you have a flood of people that won't be there in a month. And I don't mean to say that aggressively. I don't mean to say that they're all failures, that they stop coming. But when you choose January to be the start of something that hard, because consistently weightlifting at the gym is not easy. The motivation, the will to go towards your goals, it's hard, especially in the winter, and especially if you're a woman. I know a lot of women in our society don't prioritize cycle syncing, which is okay. It's not like you're doing your life wrong. But I know a lot of women, especially that want to thrive in the gym, try to go all out all month, but I'm afraid to tell you, we're not on the same hormonal scale as men. Men have, every single day is their hormonal turnover. We have a 28-day hormonal turnover. So if you're like me, and you feel extremely weak during your period, like your warm-up weight, it feels like it's your max weight, and during your ovulation, you think that your max weight is a warm-up weight, that's normal. That's honestly how it's supposed to be. It doesn't mean you can't work out all month long. It just means you have to know your body to what you can push it towards. And I just use workout as an example, but sometimes if people go so straight towards a goal in winter, it fizzles out. And I've had that happen to me year after year. I've had goals that I'm like, I'm gonna do this every single day. Life is not consistent. Like, you could work, you could be a student, you could have events going on. You might not be able to do that one thing every single day. I think about this when I say like setting goals lightly. I think about this in the way of, I know a big trend for a lot of people, and I feel like it's a trend that just comes in and out, which isn't really a definition of a trend, but like it kind of just consistently across the board is something people do in modern day, and they try to cut out all sugar, which is great. I mean, you really do want to cut out as much processed sugar as you can from your diet, but as someone that sugar, and especially, sadly, chocolate, really breaks out my skin. So many times, I'll put the goal of, okay, not even just the new year, just throughout the year, I'm like, okay, this day I'm not eating sugar as long as I can. And it never works because I have a massive sweet tooth. So instead, setting a goal lightly, I've decided to look at it more of an approach of, I want to cut out as many processed and artificial sugars as I can, but I think I might be posting a video about this. I love making sweet potato brownies, and the only sweetener in that is honey. I like making sweet potato cinnamon rolls. The only sweetener in that, I think, is maple syrup. I like making homemade hot chocolate that has maple syrup in it. I try to put the goal for myself that I can still eat sweets in moderation as long as I make them and they don't have processed sugar in them. They have honey or maple syrup or some type of natural sugar in them. And still, I don't want to indulge, eat 10 of my brownies in a day. But by doing this, I'm setting a goal that works for me and that I can move towards slowly without putting so much pressure on them, taking something away that makes me happy. Life, when it comes to food and to most things, it's a 20-80 rule. Try to eat healthy 80% of the time, but you have to fit in that 20% because there's going to be sweet treats. Or honestly, if you just want to get that fried chicken that's deep fried and not good for you, it's okay because you should still have things that you enjoy in life. All this to say, I've been really trying to start this season off slowly. I've tried to give myself room to rest and to not overexert myself, to still try to get movement in my body, but not push it so hard that I'm stressed. And a homework assignment, if I really just want to sit on the couch and watch a TV show with my mom for 30 minutes, that homework will still be there. If that deadline is not tonight, I will get it done. Because I tend to be someone that really stresses with a lot of stuff on my plate. And which is not necessarily a bad thing, that I want to get things done and I want to succeed in them. But I don't want stress to overtake my life. And setting such huge goals that tend to exhaust you more than inspire you is what makes people fail during this season. You need to give yourself time to grow, but you also need to give yourself time to rest. And I think that is something so neglected in our culture, is we don't think we deserve to rest. We have been programmed to push in an overworking society, when yes, you should be very ambitious and work towards your goals and your ambitions and your career and your passion, whatever it may be. But you also need to give yourself time to rest and think about what you're doing and think about how it's affecting you, and mentally give yourself time to process things. Because if you don't, it'll build up and it'll make a huge meltdown. Trust me, I know. I've made a lot of life, I don't want to say altering, but like I've made a lot of choices that I think can positively affect my future, including starting YouTube, because I love creating things. It's a creative outlet for me, and honestly this is more of just a journal entry to look back on and to hopefully reach someone out there that it helps. But I've made choices that have weighed on me and have made me think really hard about what I want. And I think that reflection is really good, because even though I don't have everything worked out, no one ever has everything worked out, which is a whole nother topic, because I'm really trying to bring down my screen time, because as much as I think I have altered my social media to help me and inspire me, there are still times that you watch people and you watch things that make you think, wow, why am I not doing that good? Or like, why can't I get there? Or why this, why that? No one's perfect. No one behind those screens is perfect. Just because they're portraying to you that they're doing well and that they're succeeding in something maybe you want to succeed in does not mean that they're perfect. They had to work hard and make mistakes to get there. Gosh, I might need to find whoever said this quote, but one of my favorite things recently is the embarrassment is an unexplored emotion. I'm a dancer. I embarrass myself a lot, especially during freestyles. If I don't know what I'm doing, it looks like a mess. But you can't get better at something unless you keep doing it. I could easily at my dance classes just walk off the floor when it's freestyle time, but then I'd never get good at freestyle. I look at videos from last year versus now and I'm like, wow, she's improved. Now during the class now I'm like, wow, I could have done better. But I look at the progress and it's improvement, and any improvement is improvement, which I mention that just because it comes back to the whole meaning of this video, that small steps matter. And again, like I said, I was going to say 50 times, goals are good, just make them tangible, make them reachable, make them not overwhelming for you. If you have this massive goal of, let's say you are on social media as an example, and you're like, I want to get to this many followers. Okay, how are you going to do that? Make a list. Or if you're in art and you want to sell your first painting, how are you going to do that? How are you going to market yourself? Are you going to finally make that account that you can sell something off of? Which again, these are just random ideas that come to my head right now. Everything I'm saying right now is just off the top of my head. But smaller goals sometimes are more beneficial than the big goals, because you have to enjoy being while becoming. If you just think of the end goal, then you'll never enjoy the journey, and maybe that's the best part. I'm gonna stop rambling now. Oh my gosh, you're in my neck. Hopefully this is on. Or I just filmed 18 minutes without it being on. I think it's on. But I hope this reached you in some way. I hope it maybe inspired you. I hope it was maybe just fun to watch. and I hope that you stick around maybe for another video. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. I appreciate the fact that you stayed to hear me ramble. But I hope you have an amazing day. I hope you have an amazing season. And remember to be gentle with yourself, even when you're going for your goals. I'll catch you next time.